Welcome to my podcast. Today I'm talking about making better videos by doing a couple of things. Before we get into it, remember that I'm a doing channel that encourages you to go out and do the things. Success in social media comes from doing. So after this podcast video, take a few minutes to practice what I'm telling you to do. I'll keep these videos and podcasts short so that you have time to practice each suggestion a couple of times before moving on to the next video. And if you have any questions about this tip or anything else, feel free to leave a comment below. Let's get into it. There are specific things that keep a viewer engaged in a video. Good lighting, audio, and camera angles are a very important part of vlogging. And I talk about those in a few different vlogs. I'll mention those again at the end of this podcast so that you have a chance to hear a little bit more about it. For now, there are some things that you can do before you even start recording. Let's talk about those specifically today. The first thing we want to talk about is before you even start recording, you need to make the content relatable to more viewers. For example, a problem that everyone experiences while doing what you're doing or what you're talking about, what the YouTube channel is about. I've said it before and I'll say it again, your YouTube channel needs to be a subject that you love to talk about. You're making content for people who either love the same subject or have questions about it and are looking for answers. So you should already know all about including problems that you've had to overcome or need to overcome or need help overcoming, and therefore find a solution while making the video. So while you're making the video, talk about how it is that you're finding solutions to those problems, or talk about how you have found solutions to those problems. You're going to be using the video you're making to find that solution to the problem or demonstrate how you found that solution so that they can see it in your video. There are always things that present themselves as problems which will cause people to wonder how to solve those problems. As a subject matter expert, which you should be, you can show people how to solve their problems by solving the same problems you have on video. Problem solving is one of the most relatable things about any subject you can have. Other ways to keep videos relatable: talk about discoveries you're excited about, show advancements in new technologies or better equipment, or show how your niche relates to other niches in some way in order to draw in a larger audience. Let your imagination run wild following the knowledge you already have. Wow, that was a longer point than I intended. Do you think I should expand more on that idea of including other niches? Let me know. Comments below. And if I was able to inspire you, hit that like button and share this podcast with anyone else you know that could use some help. Next, add humor. People like to laugh. Think about how many times you've watched something and they've included a bloopers reel. That doesn't have to be something that falls at the end of the video, and it doesn't have to be obvious. Subtle jokes and accidents can be used throughout the video to keep your audience entertained. Here's an example. As a server carries a tray, they trip and spill a bunch of drinks. Instead of getting upset, they shout "Mazel Tov" as a form of celebration, changing the accident into comedy. This is something I've seen many times in restaurants, but it's a good example showing that whatever the situation, there can be humor in it. I'm less a funny guy than a fun guy, so I'm going to move on, and that is my dad joke for you. Next, you can add twists and turns to the video. If you haven't seen a video of how great stories are created, I'll tell you real quick here before I move on to examples. A story consists of an intro, the body, and the conclusion. The twists and turns are part of the body that keep the audience entertained before they go to the conclusion, where the climax finishes up and ties it all together. These twists and turns are what keeps the audience paying attention throughout the story. You want them to pay attention throughout your video, so it'll encourage them to stick to the video, watch the entire video, and the algorithm will use that continued watch to be a reason to share your video to more people, increasing your growth potential. I'll make a video about that later and include some specifics. Finally, practice and repeat. You're not going to start off making videos with all this knowledge included in it right away. So part of my recommendation is to go and do the things you need to practice. That's why I tell you at every video, practice, go and do. Get used to taking these steps to make better videos, and eventually it will become a natural flow. That also goes for every aspect of content creation. Practice finding the best light, adjusting for background noise, and moving the camera to different angles. Which leads me to tell you to go out and do. Take a look at your footage and see if it's engaging, if there's a way to include humor. And if you haven't already seen my video, light, noise, and camera angles, check them out. Make those videos and share your passions. I'm Eddie, and I want you to be a YouTube success, so get out there and do it.